Rudy, it's just all too common. Consumers buy the expensive, good quality handguns or rifles, and then they get cheap on their auxiliary equipment. Let's talk about some of these high quality pieces of equipment we have here on the table.
Okay, now let's talk about it first. Before we go to the holsters, we want to talk about the belts. This is the base for every good carry and holster. For example, here, this is a holster. This is a very bad, a belt. This is a very bad example. This first is, the belt is much too thin and he bends all the time. So this is very bad. So your holster is always flapping. Yeah, by the way, everybody is always looking at this belt buckle. This belt buckle, I'm very proud of this. I won it in Arizona in a speed shoot event, and this is solid silver. But even when I have so fancy belt buckle out there, this belt is only good to keep the bands up, and that's all what it is for.
Not really good for supporting the weight of a firearm.
Absolutely. So this is a very good example. This is a double stitched, double leather, thick leather, and inside is a stabilizer in there. So this holster you cannot bend. This belt you cannot bend. This belt is also very thick, so when you slip a holster on, this holster will not always move forwards or backwards. It stays where you have it, and you want to have your handgun all the time in the same spot.
For muscle memory.
Absolutely, yes. So this is a very good solid belt buckle, and so yeah.
Now what can a person expect to pay for a good quality belt?
Yeah, I would say so approximately $100.
Yeah, but $100.
A little bit up. This is real leather.
Yeah, if it's $9.99 at Walmart, don't get it.
Yeah, here again, most of the instructor, we carry instructor belts. Those belts you get approximately for $40. But this is very stiff. This is double stitched here.
Yes.
And there's a stabilizer in there, so this is very strong.
And very wide too.
Yeah, very wide. This is a 1.75 inch. And for carry purposes, most likely you carry only a 1.5 inch belt. Yeah.
Now there is one potential downfall with one of these instructor's belts, the webbing belts.
Yeah.
And that is for the civilian who's carrying concealed. This just screams out.
Absolutely, you see this right
gun
away.
Toter. This guy's a gunslinger.
Yeah.
So for that case, just a conventional, thick, wide, sturdy belt might be the better option. But if you're going to be wearing fatigues and give yourself away visually anyway, that's probably the best choice.
Yeah. Good. Now let's talk about the first two holsters. These first two holsters are made for Revolver. This holster is made out of leather. This holster is made out of Kydex. You see, this is a very thick double stitched leather, so it keeps the shape. Remember, the thinner the leather is, desto more. Remember, when you carry all the time, you're starting to sweating. You bend this leather thing over there. A leather belt, a leather holster after time get really floppy a little bit. Yeah?
Sure.
The advantage or disadvantage is a little bit, you have to work this holster all the time. You cannot forget to take the snap off, because I saw many people, they're training all the time, have the snap open.
When they go to the range, they open up the snap so that they're ready to make the fast draw.
Exactly. And then they carry it home, and something that they occasionally arises, and you have to go to your gun, and you don't get the gun out. Yeah. So if you have a retention, you always train with the retention. If you never have a retention, don't train with retention.
So after every single exercise,
you have to close.
You have to close that retention.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, change to a different holster.
Yes.
That brings us to this one.
Yeah, and this is this one. This is a very good holster. This is made out of Kydex. Can you see this is also a little bit, this is called a drop offset holster that we actually developed for women because of the hips. And until we men actually find out, this is a very fast holster, because you can acquire very easy a nice grip on this gun when you take the gun out.
You got a place for your thumb to go.
Exactly, yeah. The next is this holster. Many people are scared that this holster falls out when you run. No, you can adjust it here with those two screws and make it a little bit tighter. So I have to pull a little bit harder up. When I'm out there and I shoot a competition and I want to shoot really fast out from the holster, I loosen the screws a little bit, and then it goes really easy out there. Yeah.
But what you don't want to do is always shoot at the range with loose screws,
yes,
and then say, okay, now I'm going to the street, going to the woods, going hunting.
No, no.
And then tighten the screws up. Now you've got a different sensation that you're not used to.
Yes, absolutely. So this is a very nice, it's not very expensive. Everybody can afford this. You get this approximately, I think, $70. but this is a very good example for a range setup. Yeah.
Well, next that brings us to some inside the waistband holsters, and I've got a pair of Glocks here. I normally keep my Glock 20 on my right hip and a Glock 29 on my left hip, and they're both inside the waistband holsters, both made by Galco. They got a nice little steel ring in here that helps keep their shape, which allows you to reinsert them after you finish shooting them. Here's an example of a really poorly made inside the waistband holster, and this is something that you just don't want to waste your time on getting. It's hard to draw out of. You get a good chance in an emergency situation of drawing your firearm and this whole holster coming right out with it. So you don't want to get something flimsy like that. Good left and right pair there. We have two 1911 holsters here, and again we've got a retention holster. Although this is a really fancy, what we might call a barbecue holster for kind of showing off to your buddies. It's made out of alligator skin. This one is just a little bit slow to get out of the retention, and we got some footage where I was trying to draw this as fast as I could and get 2 shots off, but I was struggling. There just wasn't enough leather there for me to get that. Conversely, this is a much faster holster because without the retention, still plenty of friction to hold that gun in there. Now, you're not always gonna hold or carry your firearm on your hip.
Absolutely, yes.
So here's an example. This is a Car PM9 9mm. It's a gun that I carried daily for about 3 years, and you can see the evidence of it being carried. Every morning I woke up and that went right in my pocket.
In your pocket, yes.
Now sometimes there were occasions when I had to run around the house and it was summertime and I just had light shorts on and a t-shirt. And at 2 o'clock in the morning the doorbell would ring and I need to go running down there. And this is a time when home invasions are common, You say, hey, my car broke down, can you let me in to use the phone? Well, you'd be foolhardy to let someone into your house at that hour. So what you might do in that case is you might slip on an ankle holster, or maybe you're already wearing your ankle holster, depends on what kind of lifestyle you're living. But there's the same gun. It can be right there on your ankle. You can run around the house in your skivvies and now you're still fully armed. If it's a gun that you particularly like and you really want to shoot it on the range, you have other options. You can put that right there on a belt holster. What I'm trying to show the viewers here is with the smaller firearms, the compact and subcompacts, you inherently have a lot more options on how you're going to carry it. You just can't carry a full size on your ankle.
It's very difficult. No.
Similarly, here's just another ankle holster for a revolver, and this is a great example of something that works good by concept, but in reality doesn't work too good. This is such a heavy revolver, this Ruger SP101. I mean, the advantages are you can shoot full power 357 magnums out of these for thousands of rounds, and it won't shake the gun loose. But in reality, it's like walking around with like a ball and chain when this is strapped on your ankle. So
it's always slipping down on the ankle.
Always slipping down. Actually, not a very good option. If I was going to carry a revolver and ankle holster, I'd probably want to choose one of the Airlight or titanium frames or something like that. Now, how about these holsters? These holsters belong to you, Rudy. Tell us a bit about them.
Yeah, they're a little bit different. Let's talk about the first, actually. What I want to talk about. This is this holster. This holster is actually built from Rome Despians. This is actually a backup gun holster. So you have your main gun here. You have this on the left side. You have for your main gun your magazine, and you have another gun here. Yeah, this is your backup gun. What they have outside the waistband.
Which you just showed me. You can actually draw from either your support
left
hand
or right,
or your weak
hand.
Yes.
So this is a very good setup. Now more and more, what's it go over there? The mixing leather, soft leather with Kydex.
This is kind of a new trend.
Yeah, the more and more they're going to this now, and I think this is a very good idea, because the problem very often is not to draw the gun. The problem is when I have the gun in there to get the gun back in there. When I have a soft leather, the squeezing together, you need always 2 hands, and now in this case you would muscle you to get the gun in there. Yeah, so this keeps the shape, and this is very strong in there, and you can almost not shake a gun out there. Yeah.
So even if you sweat profusely or take a dip in the water unexpectedly, fall in a creek or whatever, this is going to keep its shape for many years.
Yeah. Now we go a little bit further. Actually, there's more and more holsters with retention. With the new systems now out there, you have what we call here. This is, for example, an example. This is a retention 3 holster. This holster I'm using here when I train soldiers or law enforcement, and their main weapon is actually M4, a semi-automatic rifle, and they have this as a secondary weapon. And you don't want to lose this holster, I mean the gun out of this. This is actually 3 devices what I have, and this is called a Black Hawk. You have a device here what you can tie it on. You have a Sherpa, and you have the hood here. So I put the gun in the holster. Now this gun is locked in there.
Yes.
And now I close the hood here. Can you see?
Yes.
Now even when I open the hood here and let it snap forwards, I don't get the gun out. I have to engage the Sherpa lock, and now I get the gun out. So this is very good actually for military and law enforcement. When you have a crowd control in a police situation, you don't want that anybody takes out.
Yeah, if you just hold that on your hip there, I'll pretend like I'm trying to grab your gun.
Yeah.
If I'm trying to grab your gun or get it to the holster.
It's very difficult. You have to engage several things, unless you know it.
And almost you can only do that with your shooting hand, it looks like the way it's designed.
Good.
Now with practice, can that be just as fast as a holster like I'm carrying here today with no retention?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very fast. I'm very fast out from this holster. Good. Then it's almost the same holster. This has only this a Sherpa device. When I put it in, this is locked in there. You have to depress it and get it out there. Many people don't like the Sherpa all of a sudden because you have incidents when people actually draw this holster, they're pushing too hard with this trigger finger in there to get this out, and now the stronger you push, desto more the gun actually get hanged up in there.
Well,
and then people slip out there. Yeah? So what you have to do is, that's why I have here this notch in there when you see this, and just you put this finger straight on, and now you get the gun very easy out. Yeah.
I bet 1,000 repetitions would solve that.
Oh yes, you need a lot. Yeah. Many people waste a lot of time to grip and draw. Yeah, this thing outside, this is fast, but this is faster. Because I come down, right away I snap the gun up. It's a snapping motion. Yes, much faster. And remember, whenever you draw with those 3 fingers only. I have my thumb very high up, yeah?
Hey Rudy, this is kind of a uniquely shaped holster. Tell me a bit about this one.
Yeah, this actually is developed from a guy here also in the Central Valley in Madeira. Yeah, a lot of questions are, people when they are now, they have only t-shirts on. And here when I would have the gun here and you bend over, this gun would print. So what he's doing,
it would show through your t-shirt.
Yeah, it will show through your t-shirts. What he's doing actually is, now you have here a belt loop. You put this here in front, what is called appendix carry. You put this on, and you put the belt here through. This magazine he is here in front of this, and he has here the magazine in there. And I think this is a Glock holster. I hope so. So you have the gun actually here. You can put it up here. But what you have to now understand on this, many people say, no, yeah, I would never, because I shoot down there. Here again, we would never recommend this for a novice shooter. You have to get really good, and you have to get really, really trigger conscious when you bring this gun out, that this is straight and nothing can happen, yeah? And you put this in there.
So this isn't a mode of carry appropriate for beginners, but
absolutely not.
For seasoned pistoleros.
Yes. And so when I have a little bit of t-shirt on, you don't even, and you can carry almost a full-size gun. What you have to understand, when you go to this kind of holster, you need at least 2 weeks to get used to this, because it's always pushing in. After 2 weeks, you don't even feel this. But they have the appendix carry holster.
But many believe that this appendix carry is simply the most lightning fast presentation you can make from concealment.
Absolutely.
And even if you're sitting down, lying down, if you're struggling around on the ground with somebody already on top of you, appendix carry is the way to go.
It is.
So it's a good goal for pistol shooters to work towards.
Yes.
Is to get proficient enough that they too could carry appendix carry.
Yeah. And then here, this is actually not very long on the market. This is called a thumb drive holster.
A thumb drive?
Thumb drive.
Yes.
So what this here is, in this case, this is for a Glock. This is locking in there. And you don't get the gun out. Now, even when somebody tries to pull the gun out and you engage this, you don't get the gun out.
Oh, how about that?
What you have to do is actually you have to push the gun down and get the gun out. And this holster is so strong that you can mount this on your frame of your door. You put 2 guns on, and you can do pull-ups.
Oh, how about
Why?
that?
Because this is locked in on the trigger guard. Yeah, and this is what I'm looking for. When I'm looking for a holster, what I want to have for carrying all the time outside, I want a holster which is locking in on the trigger guard. And now I will tell you, explain you why. When you have a gun out there, and for example, yeah, I have this holster. I'll take my gun out. And my gun is empty.
Yeah, let's verify that. Yeah,
yeah.
We get magazine check,
yeah.
chamber check. Yeah, it's clear.
Good. And now I holster my gun. It's locked in.
Yes.
Even when the slide lock is back. Now I can go to my tomahawk or my knife and I can fight now in close quarter. When I have a holster which one is locked in on the ejection board like this, and you have this slide lock back, this gun will fall out from this holster. Yeah, so that's why I'm looking for a holster when I have a retention like this, which one is locked in on the trigger guard. Yeah, this is actually a very fancy holster also. What this is, they said a system here, QLS, a quick locking system. You just take this out here and you can put it on your vest.
Or paddle holster.
Or paddle, yeah.
Or this is a yeah, that's a waist holster, but you could probably also put that on a thigh ring as well.
Everywhere, yes. Yeah. So you put this in there.
Now I noticed something else. This is, of course, is a whole system. You've got some magazine pouches there.
Yeah.
You got a nice thick belt that's not gonna bend.
No.
It's gonna hold the holster in place.
Yeah.
But you also have a place for a flashlight. That's great. You grab your whole rig, and you've got ammo, you've got the gun, and you've got your flashlight all in one piece.
Everything is on.
That's
and
a great
system.
system.
This is what I explained to you when we talked about flashlights. For me, it's important, more important to have a flashlight than a backup magazine.
Oh, more important to have a flashlight than a backup magazine. So if you can only have one of these two, you're going to grab the flashlight.
Yeah, yeah. This is more important because the most of the time, what's figured out here in the United States, the fight will be in low light conditions here for civilians. Yeah.
And it'll be within 9 feet and end in 3 seconds.
9 feet and 3 seconds, most likely. Yeah.
Well, we've really looked at all the different holsters. Now I think it's time to saddle up and get out to the range.
Okay, let's go shoot. Move, excellent. Engage.
Yeah, now that's another Cutlery high performance tip.